In the year 2026, where we are right now, it has never been so easy to really make money online. But it's not just about how easy it is, it's about how you can actually manage to transition this year from being an employee to becoming a true entrepreneur. That's what we're going to talk about today. My name is Joshua Tischer, born and raised in Bremen. I've been involved in online marketing for over 7 years now and have gained plenty of experience, having already helped over 50,000 to 60,000 people to really build something of their own. And I can honestly say we've helped all kinds of people in our community and up to now in various fields to really earn money. But that's exactly what we're going to talk about today. The real question, as I said, is how can we manage in 2026 to truly generate our own income online? Let me say right up front, and this is really important, there are millions of methods or ways to actually make money online. But the question isn't whether there are thousands of possibilities. The question is, which ones can you actually do? Which ones can you really use in the current times? Because back in 2018 or 2017, when I started getting into this, I was totally confused about which methods were the best. And let me say right now, the best method is the one where you can actually get started now and build something sustainable for the long term. And above all, what you can really use for yourself right now, starting from the lowest possible capital. What resources do you have and how can you really go from 0 to 100? Okay, so let's get to one of the most important goals and areas, in my opinion, namely the cash flow quadrant. I'll show it in a moment as well. The cash flow quadrant will show you what is truly necessary to go from working to becoming wealthy, what it really means to design your life, to build your dream life, and to become independent, and so on and so forth. And that's why you really need to understand the cash flow quadrant for yourself. So the cash flow quadrant, okay, ladies and gentlemen, if you really understand it, these are the 4 ways, as people say today, that you can make money. I would really focus on this the most because it's the most important part to understand what you need and what real possibilities are out there for you to really get clarity. I always like to say, if you know where you want to go, you also need to know where you currently stand. That's why there are 4 ways you can really make money online or generally make money. There are 4 areas: being an employee, being self-employed, being an entrepreneur, and being an investor. And as you can already see, it's crystal clear that 95% of people are on the left side. But it's very important. They only earn 5% of the money that circulates in the entire world economy. On the other side, there are only 5% of people, okay? But they earn 95% of the money that is currently being generated worldwide. And I can only say, you know the saying, the rich get richer and the poor get poorer and poorer, because the rich understand how it works. And unfortunately, the poor can't benefit from the information because they don't know how it works. And even if they do know, most of the time they lack the implementation. Let's briefly go back to the left side. As I said, let's start with employees. That's 60% of people. These are the people who work for other people, okay, and accordingly work for systems. For example, like you. I used to work in a call center, for instance, very simple, and I learned what it means to sell over the phone, learned what it means to provide my services to other people, whether it's for big companies, other corporations like Vodafone, and so on and so forth. And there I traded my time for money. The big factor for employees is simple. You trade valuable time for money. It's not a positive thing, it's not a negative thing, but I can only say when you trade time for money, it's like exchanging sand for diamonds. And that's the fundamental point. If your goal is to become independent, to have money work for you, then you can't be working for money at the same time. That kind of contradicts itself. You have to learn what it means to let money work for you. That's why the path of being an employee might not be the easiest way for you. But if you want to earn more money as an employee, then you have to increase one thing: your hourly wage. Why? If you now work 8 hours for 10 euros an hour, for example, okay, then you can only make a maximum of 80 euros a day. No matter what you deliver, you can't make more than that. And if you do more, you earn even more money, but you've traded even more of your time. Okay, let's move on to the self-employed. I was there once too, okay? My brother-in-law and I opened an African restaurant, and believe me, I learned what it means to be self-employed. And as the name suggests, it means doing everything yourself all the time. That means you work around the clock. If you own a shisha bar, you're probably the first one there. And also the last person to basically enter and leave the shop. And if you do it smart, you can make it work. Smart self-employed people say, hey, I have a lot of employees. I try to let the system work for me, but you still have one problem. You are the system. If you don't function, the system doesn't function anymore either. And that's why it's the same in this situation. You trade even more time for possibly even more money. Okay, that means if you want to earn even more money, you have to trade even more time because you are the system. And if you drop out, nothing works anymore. Okay, that's what self-employment is, what it means to be self-employed. Now we come to the fundamental, most important question, and this is where the wheat is separated from the chaff. Namely, what is the difference between a self-employed person and an entrepreneur? If you can answer this question, you're on the right track. If you already know the answer to this question, you're on the right track because that's what sets you apart from most others, since they can't answer this question. So the entrepreneur, what the big difference is that he also has employees, he also has a service where he has positioned himself, and he also has something he can offer. The big difference is the system no longer needs him. The company basically doesn't need him anymore to continue doing the same work as before. Either an entrepreneurship, the old method is Aldi, Lidl, Penny, Rue, and you probably do not know the CEO 99% of the time. Me neither, funnily enough, whether it's Arrow or Shell. I don't know any of those CEOs either. But we use their products every single day. And that's exactly the most important point. Namely, that you can establish a system for yourself where money works for you. Let me repeat. As an employee, you work for time. Okay? You work, you get paid. As a self-employed person, you trade even more time for possibly even more money. And as an entrepreneur, you have to trade system in exchange for money, and systems can be summed up in two words. Number one, very simply, people you can use for yourself. It may sound strange, but people you can use to do your work to produce more. Okay, and the second way is leverage, like money or real estate, and so on, and so forth, where you can use other people's money. For example, loans, banks, private equity, and so on and so forth, allowing you to build wealth with other people's money. Okay, so that's the old method. The old method was, back in the day, open a shop and let's go. The new method is, for example, agencies and so on and so forth. Consulting fields, areas where you can advise, coaches. These are the new forms of entrepreneurship, the new kind of entrepreneurship. And you just have to learn how it works. And the investor, now we come to the investor. These are the 1% of people. And I always say that's not a profession, it's a mindset. They simply exchange money for even more money, exchange assets for even more assets. They put in 10 euros and get 30 euros out. And today we will also show you what it means not only to act as an entrepreneur, but also to demonstrate what it means to act as an investor. That is, to let your money work for you. And one thing is pretty clear. Which side you use for yourself is actually quite easy right now. If you want to become independent, you have to understand the right side. You have to learn how as an employee. No matter if you're in school, at university, or if you've already worked for 40 years, it doesn't matter where you are, whether you're a father or a mother. Whether you're a student or a pupil, it doesn't matter where you currently stand. It's only about where you want to go and which opportunities you choose to take for yourself. And one thing is absolutely clear. You can work hard and you can be cleverly positioned, but true freedom only arises where systems and capital work for you. And that's exactly the right side. And for that, you need three things. You need the skill, you need a system, and you need a little bit of capital that you invest for yourself every month so that at the end of the day, you arrive where you want to be. It will be a little journey, but it will be 100% worth it. I always say, live a life where you feel comfortable rather than a life where you keep thinking, oh my God, I can't take it anymore. The pain is just too much. That's why we're coming to something where you can learn how to get to the right side. And that is the IQ Academy. In the IQ Academy, you are able to learn through very simple skills what it means to participate in the Forex market. What is the Forex market? It is the largest financial market in the world, and there you learn as an investor. With the right mindset, okay, to learn what it means to operate in the markets, to earn money with your phone, when you display a few things, when you understand what it all looks like, whether it's trading, crypto, or stocks in general, you can learn to invest for yourself. As soon as you master one thing, you can do all the others as well. That's really, really important. Then there's also the topic of digital marketing, UGC, what it means to promote products. We are currently in a time where so many new companies are emerging, and we need all the people who advertise these things through conversation. You can learn also with us in the Academy what it really means to build the right skills, to position yourself properly, to make your videos affordable, or rather, to have them monetized. So that means you simply learn practical skills here, okay, through academies, through other things, like for example, in the next slide, how you can learn the basics, how you can overlay a few things, what it all looks like, video formats in courses and in the form of a community, and above all, okay, very, very important. You also have the opportunity to watch people live over their shoulder who have been doing this for years. Let me put it this way. You've probably often seen on TikTok, on Snapchat, or whatever app, on Instagram, how experts make money, but they don't show you how. We show you in a live streaming format like Twitch, YouTube Live, Instagram Live, how they go live into the markets, participate live, and show you what it really means to make money online. You can get your questions answered, you can ask questions, and we will answer them for you. Everything you need, and so on and so forth. And beyond that, you'll also be given strategies on how, as a beginner, in the first 2, 3, or 4 weeks, if you're really ready to put in the work, you'll already be able to earn your own money independently. As the saying goes, let me put it this way, you'll also be able to achieve short-term results. But also in the long term, this is not a get-rich-quick scheme, not at all. You don't just join today and have your million in 3 weeks. No, it's a journey that you embark on. Everyone starts with a completely different foundation. But I can say that if you really commit yourself here and are willing to put in the work, I am firmly convinced that within 1 to 2 weeks, if you are willing to put in the work, you can already see your first results and prove to yourself that it works. To prove to yourself that the money actually lands in your bank account, that you can withdraw it and use it for whatever you want. As I said, beyond that, we have more than 8 different scanners that enable you to use the financial markets, so you can start earning money right away with simple steps, a step-by-step system. Beyond that, we come to 3 ultimate, in my opinion, top-notch apps, specifically 3 apps that we have, namely IQ Social, IQ Sync, and IQ Auto. That means one for manual execution, one for semi-automated execution, and one for fully automated execution. If you want to learn how to make your money work for you, you can, and you have the opportunity to gain your own experience in all 3 areas. But right now, in my opinion, IQ Auto is one of the most impressive apps you can use to make your money work for you as a beginner, even if you have no idea what you're doing, simply by connecting your account to the experts. And the experts will trade your account accordingly for you. And you have the opportunity to benefit from this through our community. The next point is, accordingly, how much does the whole thing cost? Does the education cost anything? How much does it cost you to live your dream life? How much does it cost you to go down this path? From being an employee to the point where you can travel anywhere in the world. Like myself, for example, learning how you can really make money from anywhere in the world. All you really need are your skills and the internet. And even if the internet goes down, you still have your skills. And accordingly, you can also build other businesses. I always like to say, I remember someone once asked me, Joshua, how much money have you already invested in your own further education back when it was still 2018? I told him, to be honest, I spent all my money just on PlayStation. I spent all my money just on new games. Why? Because I had a broke mindset. Broke mindset means a broke life. Rich mindset means a rich life. And then he said to me, okay, Joshua, your wardrobe is worth more than your mind. Why? Because you've invested more money in clothes and games than in your brain. But your goal should be to increase your own value. If you increase your own value, you'll be able to demand even more money from the outside. Then you can provide more added value, become more valuable, and that's the goal. Treat yourself like a stock. And it's exactly the same here. Spend most of your money on your own further education. Otherwise, you won't make it. You absolutely have to invest money in yourself 1,000,000%. And that's why we built a membership service. And you're able to decide for yourself month by month whether you want to continue using the service. Whether it makes sense for you or not, right now we only have one package, one direction, namely IQ Elite, where you pay a one-time fee of about $300 depending on the currency. For example, in euros, it's about 250 euros, and then a monthly fee of about $185 or $214, which you can use for yourself every month. Every 28 days, you decide whether to continue or not. Since this is a people-to-people business and we want to make sure, or rather the community or the service providers have to make sure that you actually earn your money, that you stay, and that you also get your added value from it, we naturally have to deliver on that as well. And that's why you'll really use your membership for years, just like our entire community, over 30,000 people who use this service, this offering for themselves. That's the initial discussion about it. And you have the option to say, you know what, maybe I'll even commit myself for the next 6 months, for the next 12 months. Because as I said, you won't change your life in just 1 year. You'll need a certain amount of time for that. You'll need it. And if you say you're committed, then you're saying, you know what, I am a person who is willing to invest in myself, even in the long term. So that's the discussion on this point. Now we come to another point that really gave me freedom, to be completely honest. Namely the topic of sales and community business. In my opinion, one of the most important skills, aside from AI, aside from finance, aside from communication, is learning what it means to solve problems. You have to learn what it means not only to solve your own problems, but also to solve other people's problems, so that at the end of the day, to get what you want. Now, let's assume you use all of this for yourself. You have connected IQ Automate, you've used the automation, you use the trade ideas for yourself, you use the education for yourself, and you earn your first money in the first weeks or in the first 2 weeks or in the first 2 months. And now you have the opportunity to say, you know what, either I develop this skill for myself or I learn from it how to build a community and learn what it means to be a community leader. And in doing so, create a passive income for yourself. Remember, again, I said in the Cash Rocco section, there are two paths. Entrepreneurship, letting money work for you by using systems, or using money to generate even more money. With this, you have the opportunity, for example, with the No More Fund, that if you give 4 other people the same opportunity as you to participate in the financial markets, earn money online, or even share other results with them in some way, you are able to benefit from the subscription or to have the service provided to you for free. That means you no longer have any monthly costs. And you can use that money for yourself again to spend it on something else, or basically reinvest it yourself. And if you say, hey, I want to scale this whole thing up completely, I want to learn what it really means to build large communities, to give back to people what I have received, or simply to keep going because it's just so awesome, then you have the ability to truly elevate it and scale it up long term. This is actually another type of income you can build to establish your community business. In the end, it's old school network marketing. Nowadays, I call it community building, simply for the reason that nowadays everyone does it. In the past, Facebook did it, Airbnb did it, and today it's done by other platforms like School, Facebook, and even Instagram. And that's why this is also a top choice for you to really build up additional income. The first level of abundance goes up to 10,000 euros, where you can earn 10,000 euros. It starts with the risings, as I said, where you're at plus minus zero. Then comes the silver star, where you can start earning $700. And the great thing is, since it's paid out every Friday, that means, for example, every Friday you get $175 if you've managed to help more than 14 people in your organization benefit from the products. You can scale the whole thing up to 1,500, 3,000, 5,000, 10,000, or we can even go further up to the millions. But I don't even want to talk about the big numbers, okay, about what would change in your life if you earn 10,000 euros. If you have more questions about this, go back to the person who really showed you all of this. But I can only tell you, let's talk about the small numbers. Let's talk about what would change in your life if you were to get $1,000 more now, $2,000 more, or maybe even $3,000 more. Simply because you managed to grow and duplicate the business for yourself, exactly as I did. I solved my problem 7 years ago and now I'm helping other people. Just like with this video, which is about what it really means to solve your problems so you can finally earn your money online in a legitimate way. And that's how I managed to do it, for example. Slowly building new test funnels, organizations of people who earn over 10,000 euros. And I'm not saying, hey, come join the score, but rather we're saying, hey, there are ways, different ways that you can combine to build multiple streams of income. And community is one of the most important assets that will come into your life. Because whether you're a YouTuber or an actor, people who own communities will always make more money than those who try to do everything alone, okay? And that concludes the business overview conversation. How you can really make money in 2026, what it means, and which different products you can use. Feel free to reach out to the person who sent you this video. And we say, maybe we'll see each other in a conversation, in 1, 2, or 3 talks or on some call. And we say, let's go. Thank you for being here. Ciao, ciao.